It's been said for a while that social media is becoming or will become your new resume. The whole point of social media is to make money. If you want to connect with friends and family, have an account somewhere and connect with friends and family. Outside of that, the only reason is to make money, whether you are making money for yourself or you are making money for someone else. If you are trying to be a charitable person and you are just tossing as much good deeds out there as possible, then you are a nonprofit. You are raising good deeds for yourself and other people. And then the rewards you believe you're going to get for that, in that respect, it's kind of like money. You're getting something from it. This is not the first social media account I've ever had. Social media has been out for more than a decade. There's all kinds of platforms out there. I wanted to start this one in order to really launch that personal brand. Finally, to not only have a body of work that stands on its own, but to be able to show expertise and technical skills and also attract people to something I really believe in, which is namely the art of writing by hand, which is also a fun thing. I have a lot of fun with that, and it makes me happy, it makes me smile, and that brings me joy. I've been on social medias since they've had social medias, and I've closed down accounts and restarted and closed down and restarted accounts for just as long. But my goal specifically with the X account when it was Twitter was to finally go, no, I can grow a social media account. I can attract the type of audience that I'm looking for, and I can attract the buyers that I'm looking for. We can also use this to uphold certain maybe truths or ideals that are important to me and have some fun with it as well. So I've tried to combine all of those things into this account under the personal brand of who I am. There are many aspects to who we are as people, and it should be okay to highlight those things about yourself as a person. There's many things that make up a human being. A person's personalities, their interests, their hobbies, the problems that they solve, the skills that they have, and how they interact with the world around them is becoming something that is more important to people in a visual space than it used to be in a purely written space. I know, and I've known now for about 2 years, that having a strong social media presence is necessary to help underscore and bolster and provide social proof to potential clients, employers, and what have you, that you are a real human being, that you do know what you're talking about in certain skill sets, and that you have some sort of a personality that you can communicate with the rest of the world in a somewhat professional or hilarious or whatever manner it is of the audience that you're seeking through your social media account. So I wanted to do all of those things and combine it under a personal brand in order to highlight those things and to create a full body of work. The goal was to do it in one place. I like to believe that somehow bringing my whole person to my social media account is doing all of those things. I want people to benefit from my knowledge in the technical writing space and the ability to define things well and the ability to be super clear, especially when it matters. And I want to be able to help people fix their resumes and find a job if that's what they're struggling with. I want to be able to take someone who I can clearly see is just stuck. They're believing something about themselves that I know isn't true. For just from an outside perspective and an older person, I can tell you right now, whatever it is they're locked in on, it's not true. And I'll be able to come to them and say, yeah, but this and this will happen. Here's how you solve it. I want to be able to do that in one place. And in that, it's kind of like my social media account is my proof of work. I was here. I'm leaving something that's impactful. I'm helping other people. But at the same time, I want to write about whatever I want to write about and get paid for it. 30 years ago, I wanted to be a syndicated newspaper columnist. The model of how you become published and widely known is very different today than it was back then. So as I go forward, I want to make it very simple. The intent of my social media account was to bring my whole self to the table. The things that I find the most useful and the best about me in order to help other people, but also to be able to get paid to write whatever I want to actually write about. What I'm questioning right now is what I envisioned lining up with what is actually happening, right? You can't build a product that nobody wants to pay for. That's a waste of time. And I built out several products that so far other people have not wanted. That's fine. I learned a lot. I don't regret it. It's part of my body of work. And if those things never sell, I will repurpose them. I have an entire library, half of a lifetime's worth of work that I've saved that can be repurposed into something else. And that's part of that evolution. That's part of that process. But I'm just questioning now, am I attracting subscribers? Am I increasing my account to the point where I'm now able to monetize my social media account? Am I increasing my followers and converting them to newsletter subscribers? Am I attracting the people who would be interested in having access to those things? And on the flip side, with the technical aspect of things, am I attracting the right type of audience that is eventually going to pay me for my work? Those are some good questions. Anybody can be on social media to connect, to get free dopamine, to be entertained, to pass the time away, what have you, right? But some of us have some very specific end goals in mind while building up and creating a social media account or accounts. I would have to say my end goal with the account is still the same. But with today's landscape changing, I'm not sure. I don't want to say I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. I know that I'm doing it better in the last 6 months, especially the last 3 months, compared to what it was before. And that was kind of planned that way. So that was okay. But to see the breakdowns of the audience and what they're actually interested in was very surprising to me. I didn't come here to market Islamic content. I happen to be Muslim, so it's part of my life. And as you bring your whole person to your social media account, that's something I'm going to talk about, that I'm learning about, or that I believe, or how that fits into certain things, or dispelling some myths here and there. And I have some life wisdom to offer. So I offer that when I think I can help. Maybe I should do it more, but I'm doing it now when I think I can help. I wanted this to be the main tool that I used to attract an audience to the overall brand of the Stealthy Scribbler Society. I was using this as a catch-all umbrella to frame all my written work, the different skill sets I bring to the table as a whole human being, and the things that I think are important for humanity and society as a whole. But as this time of building has gone on, I realized I didn't want to spend my time maintaining and synchronizing literally 3 to 4 different domains for the different types of services. So I recently overhauled my main website under my own name to include all of these things as an updated version. The Stealthy Scribbler Society is definitely still there, but it's now an equal representation to the other things rather than just being the one big thing. I thought that by bringing my entire self to the account and highlighting all these different areas about me, that there would either be an equal mix of people who valued either the Stealthy Scribbler Society or the technical written content or the proofreading ability or Misty's ability to fill in the blank. And oh yeah, by the way, she's Muslim. That's what I thought it was going to be. And throughout that whole group, somewhere in there was going to be more than one paying customer. So when I saw the results, it was just very eye-opening that most people like my Islamic content the most. It's definitely gone in a direction that I wasn't expecting at all. I don't really put out a lot of Islamic content, not like some other accounts do. It's just part of my life. And so when it's applicable, I talk about it. Or when I have something to contribute in the conversation, I'll bring it up. I don't really bring it up otherwise. Islam for me is not a business. It's my personal religion. If it were truly up to me, at the end of the day, if it were possible, I would take a notebook, any notebook from the dollar store, and a pen from the dollar store, one I found on the ground that works, right? And I would just write down everything. One of the biggest pieces about me is writing everything down by hand. Some of the best times of my life is when I could just sit and write everything down. And if I could, I would just write down everything. Doesn't matter what it is. I would just write down everything. And then when I was done, I would close that notebook and I would just keep going. I would keep doing that. And that act right there would somehow meet every single last one of my needs on this earth for the rest of my life. That is an ideal, beautiful thing for me to think about. But I haven't found a way to make that happen. So you come to social media, you build up a personal brand, you launch an account, and you bring your whole self to the table. You bring the types of the pillars of content that are important to you, the things you're good at, the things that matter to you, the technical skills you have, the problems you know how to solve, all of those types of things. And you start pouring that out in value to other people in order to gain a following with the intent of eventually monetizing your account or attracting them to become a paid client of some kind so that you can have the time to do the things that are the most precious to you, which in my case would just be to write everything down by hand. As corny as that sounds, I don't want to put myself down. That's not true. It's not corny. It's a beautiful thing.